Welcome, everyone. I'm Tracy Fitzpatrick, and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Netcom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. We are very excited to host today's event, Ransomware Response, Strategies to Detect, Prevent, and Recover. And presenting today's topic is Philip Govinda. Philip is a dynamic IT instructor with over 8 years of experience specializing in artificial intelligence and IT certifications. He's certified as an AI Plus Executive, AI Plus Everyone, AI Plus Prompt Engineering, and AI Plus Developer, and delivers practical hands-on training that helps professionals apply AI tools effectively. Philip also has deep expertise in Cisco, CompTIA, and Microsoft certifications. Known for his engaging style and ability to simplify complex concepts, he makes learning accessible and impactful for audiences at all levels. Please bear in mind that this is an overview of a very robust topic. We offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored to your specific requirements. If you are interested in a further discussion, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session is also being recorded, so you'll get free access to the recording in the next 24 hours via email. Netcom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adapting to change, and driving growth. We do this with a broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. We do have 9 practice areas in which we specialize. They encompass people, process, and technology training. And today's presentation is from the Security Practice Area. Netcom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio of courses for the topic being covered today. Our upcoming classes include various trainings on the given courses. You can also access a variety of marketing assets, such as the free training and blogs, by clicking on the available event handout. These offerings can be found with a simple search on our website at netcomlearning.com. In today's threat-filled cyber landscape, rapid detection and strategic response are key to minimizing damage and maintaining trust. Organizations must be equipped with not just the tools, but the tactical knowledge to manage and counter ransomware threats effectively. In this session, we'll uncover the essentials of ransomware defense and incident response. You'll learn how to develop a strong response plan, recognizing warning signs before attacks escalate, and implement strategies aligned with industry's best practices. Now, I would like to give you a quick overview of the logistics before we get started. To begin with, you do have the option to view in full screen by clicking on the full screen button on the right side of the GoToWebinar viewer. Simply hit the escape key to exit the full screen. Everyone has been muted except for our presenters. Feel free to submit any questions you have for the presenters here in the questions pane, and we will address them at the end of the session. And to get the best out of today's events, we've included the slides, courses we talk about, and marketing assets in the handouts section of your GoToWebinar viewer. You may refer to them at any time to get a better understanding of today's topic. And we do realize that some of you may have to leave early, and want to let you know that as you do leave the session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to take a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience and improve our future sessions for you. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. And now I'd like to pass this over to our trainer to present today's topic. Hey, Philip, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tracy. Welcome everyone to this webinar on ransomware defense and incident response. My name is Philip Govinda and I'll be your instructor for this session. And I'm proud to serve as a certified security expert and information technology instructor here at Netcom Learning. In today's session, we're going to explore tools, tactics, and strategies that can help organizations detect, contain, and then recover from these different ransomware attacks. And we're going to look at a few different real-world case studies, walk through some response planning, and examine how to prevent attacks before they happen. So whether you're technical or whether you're in technical or a leadership role, this presentation is going to be designed to give you actionable knowledge to defend your organization. So let's get started here by reviewing the agenda for today's session. Okay, so here's a brief overview of what we're going to be covering today. We're going to start by doing a quick introduction to ransomware, where we'll define what it is and how it works. Next, we'll explore the current threat landscape, identifying different trends, key statistics, and emerging challenges. And then from there, we're going to move into signs of infection and how they conduct early detection using the right tools. We'll then dive into containment strategies, focusing on tools and actions you can take when ransomware is detected. And after that, we're going to walk through how to build an effective incident response plan that includes people, processes, and tools. We'll cover recovery best strategies. We'll also look at some communication best practices, how to handle internal and public messaging. And finally, we're going to explore prevention and proactive measures to reduce your risk of the attack. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to close off with a Q&A session to answer all your questions and discuss some different real-world scenarios. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our first topic here of what is ransomware. And by definition, ransomware is a type of malicious software or malware that is designed to encrypt important data on the system and then demand a ransom payment in exchange for restoring access. So once installed, it locks files or entire systems, making them inaccessible to users or organizations. And the main goal of ransomware is financial extortion. Attackers want victims to pay in order to regain access to their own data. And this is typically done by displaying a ransom note, demanding payment, often in forms of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. And the most common targets for ransomware include healthcare organizations, educational institutions, government agencies, and even small to medium-sized businesses. And these groups are especially vulnerable because they often have valuable data, limited security budgets, or urgent operational needs. And there's going to be several types of ransomware we're going to look at in today's session. We're going to look at crypto ransomware, and this is like the one we covered. It encrypts individual files and folders, making them unreadable without a decryption key. We also have locker ransomware that goes further by locking users out of their entire system, preventing even basic access. And we also have double extortion ransomware. This one not only encrypts your data, but also steals it, threatening to publicly release sensitive information unless payment is made. So kind of like using it to blackmail the victim. Okay, and this added pressure makes victims more likely to pay. Okay. So now let's take a look at the current threat landscape in terms of ransomware. So the current state of ransomware here, we see one of the biggest developments is in the rise, and that's going to be ransomware as a service. And this is a criminal business model where developers create ransomware and lease it to affiliates who then deploy the attack and share profits. It has lowered the technical barrier to entry, allowing non-expert hackers to launch a lot of sophisticated attacks. And modern ransomware doesn't just target desktops, it attacks cloud services, system backups, and even endpoint devices. So by compromising these areas, attackers increase the impact and difficulty of recovery. Now, the average downtime following a ransomware attack is now approximately 21 days. That's 3 full weeks of operational disruption, which can severely harm a business's reputation and, of course, their revenue. So from a financial standpoint, ransomware attacks cost organizations over $20 billion globally in 2024 alone. And a list of major ransomware incidents that they keep growing here. So we saw recent high-profile breaches in healthcare. We saw it in MGM Resorts, Royal Mail, and these examples just show that no industry is immune to this stuff, and consequences can be massive depending on how long the ransomware goes unnoticed or unremediated in the network. So now let's discuss the most common infection vectors, and these are the entry points attackers use to deliver ransomware into your environment. And the first and most common vector is going to be through phishing emails. These are fraudulent messages that appear legitimate and trick users into clicking malicious links or opening infected attachments. So once clicked, ransomware is silently downloaded and begins to execute on the system. The second major vector is unpatched system vulnerabilities. If software operating systems are not updated, attackers can exploit known weaknesses to gain unauthorized access. Okay, another common vector is remote desktop protocol brute force attacks, or the RDP brute force. In these cases, attackers use automated tools to guess usernames and passwords until they successfully log into the system remotely. Once inside, they can deploy ransomware directly onto the machine. Okay, we have malicious advertisements, also known as malversting. That's another common infection method. These ads are placed on legitimate websites and can download malware automatically, even without a click. Just by loading the page can infect you with these malware advertisements. And finally, ransomware can also spread to any third-party vendors that you work with. So, for example, you might not be compromised, but the third party you're working with, the vendor is, and that can lead your organization to getting compromised as well. Okay, so this occurs when the organization's trusted partner gets compromised, allowing attackers to move laterally into your network using that shared access. So let's cover some of the early warning signs now. Okay, the first sign to look for is a sudden spike in CPU or disk activity. And ransomware often consumes heavy system resources as it encrypts large volumes of files in a short time. If you notice system slowness or unresponsive applications, or even fan noise from overheating, these could all be indicators of ransomware. Next, pay attention to unusual outbound network traffic. A lot of ransomware variants communicate with command and control servers to receive encryption keys or transmit stolen data. And this activity can often be detected in your firewall logs or network monitoring tools. Okay. And another common red flag is also going to be suspicious file renaming. Files may suddenly appear with unusual extensions, or you may find random files on your desktop that have their names changed. If we notice any of these anomalies with file names, it could be a clear red sign or red flag that we've been compromised. So watch for antivirus or endpoint detection software being disabled as well or tampered with. Okay, so if we notice our AV or EDR solutions being turned off or uninstalled without admin approval, it could be an attacker attempting to evade detection. Okay, and finally, investigate any appearance of unexpected administrative accounts. If you see new admin level users that were not created by your IT team, it may signal a threat actor establishing persistence in your environment. So again, just spotting these signs early can help stop the attack before full encryption takes place, reducing the damage significantly. Okay, on the next slide, we're going to look at some detection tools and techniques here used to identify that ransomware is present. Okay, and the first category is EDR, which stands for Endpoint Detection and Response. These tools monitor endpoint activity and use behavioral analysis to detect suspicious processes such as file encryption or privilege escalation. And popular examples include CrowdStrike, we have Sentinel-1, Microsoft Defender for endpoint. Those are all good EDR tools that we can use to detect these potential ransomwares early. Another key technology is SIEM systems, or security information and event management. SIEM platforms, they collect and analyze logs from across the environment to correlate events, detect patterns, and just raise alerts altogether. And this allows security teams to spot ransomware indicators such as multiple failed logins, unexpected file access, or even unauthorized changes. Okay, we also have behavioral analytics as well. That's another important detection method to look at. Okay, rather than relying on known malware signatures, this technique is going to build a baseline of normal user activity and detect anomalies that may suggest an attack. Okay, so when we look at behavioral analytics, we're looking at what's normal for our system, and then when things deviate away from what's normal, that's when we're going to start troubleshooting. For example, if we notice that a certain employee, they log in at 9 a.m. every single day on a weekday, but today their account was logged in at 2 in the morning on a weekend, that could be a red flag. Now, of course, it could mean that employee is logged in late to get some work done, or it could have meant their account was compromised. So anytime something deviates from normal behavior, it's always good means to look into it and troubleshoot why that happened. Okay, and next, and we also have file integrity monitoring, which tracks changes to critical files and system settings. If ransomware tries to alter system files or registry keys, file integrity tools will detect and alert on that behavior immediately. And some examples of those tools, we have Microsoft Endpoint for the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. that's built into a lot of Windows environments. We have CrowdStrike Falcon. We have Wazoo. These are all tools that can detect any changes in your normal behavior. Okay, so next here we're going to cover some of our different containment strategies for ransomware. Okay, and once ransomware has been detected, your top priority is always going to be containment, stopping the spread of the infection as quickly as possible before it has time to escalate. And the first step is going to be isolate the affected systems. This means removing infected devices from the network immediately to prevent lateral movement to other endpoints. So unplug Ethernet cables, disable Wi-Fi, and cut all network connections to the compromised device. Next, disable shared drives and network shares. Ransomware often spreads by encrypting mapped drives, so turning them off helps prevent broader data loss. Okay, you should also block malicious domains and IP addresses used by ransomware's command and control infrastructure. And this can stop the malware from receiving instructions or even uploading stolen data. At this stage, notifying your incident response team is also going to be very essential. They need to begin assessing the situation, coordinating communications, and initiating your formal response process and your plan. And finally, another key step here is to suspend or disable any compromised user accounts. If an attacker is using a legitimate login to spread malware, disabling that account can cut off their access. And together, these containment strategies, they're going to help minimize as much damage as possible, preserve evidence, as well as prepare yourself for recovery. Okay. So the first 24 hours after detecting ransomware are going to be absolutely critical for us. Your initial actions during this time can significantly impact the scope of damage and the success of your recovery. The first step is to confirm the ransomware variant. So knowing what strain you're dealing with helps identify its behaviors, encryption methods, and possible decryption tools. Next, you should disconnect infected devices from your network. So physically or logically isolate any compromised system to prevent the malware from spreading further. At the same time, begin efforts to preserve digital forensics. Okay, this includes capturing any memory images, disk snapshots, and log files before rebooting or wiping systems. Okay, preserving evidence is essential for root cause analysis, insurance claims, okay, and possibly even law enforcement investigations. Okay, you also need to notify legal and compliance teams right away. Depending on your location and industry, you may have regulatory obligations for breach notifications or data protection. Okay, we also see internal communications should also begin immediately as well. So notify executive leadership, relevant departments, and potentially affected users using a clear, consistent message. And this 24-hour window is not about solving everything. It's about stabilizing the environment, preserving evidence, and aligning your response teams. Okay, coming up, we're going to discuss how to build on a complete response plan to guide your team through the rest of the incident. Okay. So a well-structured plan, it helps guide your team before, during, and after the ransomware incident. So the first component is to ensure your organization has cyber insurance and understand what it covers. Now, cyber insurance can help cover ransom payments, legal costs, forensics, and also even recovery expenses, but only if properly documented. Next, understand the legal implications of ransomware, especially whether paying a ransom is legal or prohibited in your jurisdiction. Your plan should include guidance from legal counsel on ransom payment, data breach notification laws, and communication protocols. Proper documentation is key throughout the entire response process, and this includes logging timeline of events, actions taken, people who are involved, decisions made. Okay, and again, accurate documentation is critical for things like insurance claims, regulatory compliance, as well as post-incident analysis. Your response plan was clearly outlined the roles and responsibilities of each team member. Everyone from IT and legal communications and HR should know exactly what to do and who to report to. And then lastly, include pre-approved communication templates for internal updates, external messaging, as well as crisis management. So this is going to ensure your team can respond quickly and avoid confusion during these high-stress situations. Let's now take a closer look at cyber insurance and legal considerations you have to account for during a ransomware incident. So first, it's essential to review your cyber insurance policy and know what it covers before the incident occurs. Okay, know exactly what's covered, and this could include forensic investigations, data restoration, legal counsel, and even ransom payments. Be aware that some policies exclude ransom payments or have strict conditions for coverage, such as timely notification or use of specific vendors. Second, understand the legality of paying a ransom in your country or industry. In some cases, paying a ransom to an entity may violate government regulations and expose your organization to legal risks. And your response plan should involve legal counsel early to help evaluate the risks and provide guidance on compliance and notification requirements. Okay, we also have your maintain detailed documentation throughout the entire incident. So this includes communications with with attackers, if any, system logs, timeliness of actions taken, and evidence of due diligence. These records are vital for insurance claims, legal investigations, and just reporting in general. In some industries, you may be required to notify authorities or affected customers within a specific time frame of the incident of the ransomware. And your legal team should guide you in preparing any legally vetted notification messages and determining if law enforcement needs to be involved. Now, this legal lawyer is just as important as your technical response, and it ensures you're protected from secondary consequences like any fines or financial risks. Okay, so let's take a look at a real-world ransomware attack that made international headlines, and that's going to be the Colonial Pipeline breach. So we've probably heard of it. In May 2021, Colonial Pipeline, a major U.S. fuel supplier, was hit by a ransomware attack that caused a shutdown of its operations for multiple days. And the attackers were able to gain access to a VPN account that was poorly secured with a weak password. And what's worse, that VPN account was not protected with multi-factor authentication, which would have added an extra layer of security. So once inside the network, the attackers exfiltrated 100 gigabytes of sensitive data. And this is a classic example of double extortion. They encrypted systems and threatened to leak the stolen data. And Colonial Pipeline made the decision to pay a $4.4 million ransom in Bitcoin to regain access and prevent public data exposure. And the attack, it caused widespread panic and fuel shortages across the entire US. Okay, and this incident, it highlighted the dangers of weak authentication, insufficient network segmentation, and limited incident preparedness. Okay, we didn't have multi-factor setup, we didn't have a response plan, and a couple key takeaways. We just want to implement MFA on all remote access points, monitor data exfiltration, know when your data is being moved from point A to point B, ensure that you have segmentation between your critical systems and user networks, and just having tested your response plan. You don't want to have to test your response plan on the day of the incident. You want to make sure it works, it's effective before the incident actually happens. So the Colonial Pipeline case serves as a powerful reminder that basic security gaps can lead to massive operational consequences. They ended up paying $4.4 million because they didn't have multi-factor authentication set up in place. They had a weak password set up. So now let's walk through the key considerations for recovery from a ransomware incident. And the recovery phase is about restoring operations safely without reintroducing the threat or leaving vulnerabilities unaddressed. The first step is to conduct a full forensic review before wiping any systems. And this helps you understand the attack vector, identify compromised accounts, and ensure evidence is preserved. Never rush to rebuild until the root cause of the attack has been identified. Once forensics is complete, begin restoring from clean, verified backups. It's critical that these backups were not touched by the attacker or stored in accessible environments before the breach. You'll also need to rebuild affected systems, including your servers, your workstations, and possibly network devices. Avoid using gold images unless they've been validated as clean, uncompromised. Okay. After restoration, take time to validate the integrity of the environment. Run malware scans, check file hashes, audit logs, and verify that no persistent machine mechanisms were left behind. A thorough post-recovery audit should follow all these steps properly, and it's going to help ensure that the security controls are updated, monitoring is enhanced, and any weaknesses were addressed. And the goal isn't just to recover, it's to recover confidentiality, okay, without reinfection. We want to prevent this from reoccurring. We want to not only fix the issue at hand, but also address the cause of the issue as well. What caused it, what was the root of it? If we can patch that up, fix those vulnerabilities, we can try to prevent reoccurrence. Next one we have here is going to be our communication best practices. So when it comes to communication best practices, we're looking for clear, timely, and accurate communication, and to maintain trust, minimize panic, and just ensure legal compliance altogether. So start by using crisis communication templates that have been pre-approved by legal and executive leadership. These templates allow you to quickly respond without risk of miscommunication. Next, conduct internal staff briefings early and often. Keep your employees informed on what happened, what's being done, and what actions they need to take. Transparent communications, it's going to help reduce confusion. It's going to prevent rumors and misinformation from spreading. Okay, for public communication, always rely on legal vetted media statements. Do not disclose technical details or assign blame too early. Your message should be focused, factual, and controlled. Be sure to issue regulatory notifications if required by the law as well. Many industries and jurisdictions have mandatory breach reporting laws with a specific time frame. So work with your legal and compliance teams to ensure that you're meeting all these obligations. And one very important rule, do not publicly disclose if the ransom was paid. This can make you a target for future attacks and raise ethical or legal concerns as well. The goal of communication is to preserve your reputation and ensure regulatory compliance, and just provide clarity and communication to all of your stakeholders. Okay. So when it comes to backup and restoration strategies, a strong backup plan is one of the most important defenses against ransomware. If your data is properly backed up, you can restore systems without paying the ransom. And one of the most widely recommended approaches is the 3-2-1 backup rule. Now, this means you should have 3 copies of your data stored on 2 different types of medias, with one kept offsite or offline. Okay, this protects against local failures, protects against natural disasters, as well as cyber attacks that target your backup systems. It's also essential to test your backups regularly. Don't just assume your backup system is working. Run regular restoration drills to ensure that the data is actually recoverable. Next, use immutable backup storage whenever possible. Okay, this storage means backups cannot be modified or deleted even by administrators. This prevents attackers from encrypting or wiping backup files during the ransomware attack. And some backup systems include features like air gapping. We have worm write once read many storage, or even versioning to protect backup integrity. Keep in mind that your backup strategy should be aligned with your RTO, your recovery time objectives, and your recovery point objectives, your RPO as well. Okay, so again, that means planning how quickly your systems can restore and how much data loss is acceptable in worst case scenarios. Backups, they're not just an IT task, they're a core business continuity requirement. Okay, and in our next section, we're going to explore how to conduct post-incident reviews and identify lessons learned to improve future resilience. Okay, so like we said, after the ransomware incident, it's essential to conduct a post-incident review to identify what went wrong and how to prevent it from happening again. And this whole process is called the lessons learned phase. It plays a vital role in building long-term security maturity. So start by performing a root cause analysis to determine exactly how the attack occurred. Was it due to a phishing email, a misconfigured firewall, or maybe missing security updates? Identifying the root cause helps your team address the real issue, not just the symptoms. Once the cause is clear, update your response plan and technical controls to close any security gaps. And this may include changes to access control policies, endpoint protection tools, or even network segmentation strategies. Next, we want to conduct user training sessions to reinforce secure behavior. Employees should understand how to recognize social engineering attempts, report suspicious activity, and follow proper procedures. Another best practice is to share your finding with ISACs, and that stands for Information Sharing and Analysis Centers. These are trusted organizations that collect and distribute threat intelligence across industries. So by contributing your insights, you help protect others, and you also gain access to a broader threat data in return. So use this review process to measure your incident response performance, such as response times, containment success, and recovery outcomes. This helps to identify your strengths, your weaknesses, and your current playbooks and improve them going forward. Remember, every ransomware incident is a chance to get better prepared for the next one. Okay, up next, we're going to discuss key prevention and proactive measures that help reduce your overall risk of the ransomware attacks. So we want to focus here on all prevention. So just taking proactive security measures is the most effective way to stop ransomware attacks before they even start. And the first and most basic practice is patch management. All systems and applications must be kept up to date with the latest security patches to fix known vulnerabilities. Many ransomware strains exploit old, unpatched systems to gain access. Next, we want to implement regular security awareness training for all of your employees. Users should know how to identify phishing emails, avoid suspicious downloads, and report incidents quickly. Training should be ongoing, not just a one-time session. Okay? Another critical measure is adopting multi-factor authentication, MFA. We know MFA, it adds an extra layer of security by requiring users to present more than just a password to access systems. And this can stop attackers even if they steal login credentials. Also, consider implementing network segmentation. This means separating your network into zones so that if one area is compromised, the attacker can't move laterally to other systems. Finally, deploy strong endpoint protection tools on all of your devices. Use solutions that offer real-time scanning, behavioral monitoring, and automatic containment to stop ransomware before it spreads. Okay, so like we said, prevention is not just about technology, it's about culture, it's about policy, and just having readiness. Organizations that are investing in these proactive measures are far more likely to detect, block, and recover from ransomware threats than those who aren't. Okay, and next we're going to review how to measure your organization's preparedness using industry standard maturity models. So to assess how well your organization is prepared for ransomware and other cyber threats, we can use security maturity models. And these models provide a structured way to evaluate your current posture, identify gaps, and build a roadmap for improvement. And one of the most widely used frameworks is going to be the NIST cybersecurity framework. Okay, and NIST, that's your National Institute of Standards and Technologies. They include 5 key functions for all these incidents. And the 5 functions where they include, we have identify, we have protect, detect, respond, and recover. Each function contains specific categories and controls to guide your security efforts across the entire life cycle. For example, under protect, you might implement access control policies, awareness training, and data encryption. Under respond, you focus on incident handling, communication plans, and forensic analysis. Another helpful tool is the CISA's Ransomware Readiness Assessment. This is a free resource from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency that walks organizations through the ransomware defenses. It evaluates both basic practices and more advanced protections and gives recommendations tailored to your risk level. You can also use the CIS Controls version 8, a prioritized set of actions developed by your Center for Internet Security. So these controls, they're designed to reduce the most common attack vectors and are grouped by implementing group based on your size and complexity. Okay, and again, these maturity models, they're just here to help you benchmark your progress, align with best practices, and continuously improve your security posture. Okay, so let's wrap up our session with a few key takeaways that are going to reinforce what we learned about ransomware defenses and incident response. First, understand that ransomware is constantly evolving. Okay, attackers are using it more than ever, and they're using more advanced tactics, better social engineering, and faster encryption methods than ever before. And next, remember that early detection significantly reduces the impact. The sooner you recognize the signs of infection, the better your chances of stopping the attack before major damage is done. It's not just enough to have the tools, you need a response plan, and it must be tested regularly. Okay, practice tabletop exercise and run through simulated attacks to ensure your team is prepared. Your backup strategy has to be strong and regularly tested. We covered things like the 3-2-1 rule. We covered having immutable backups, and just make sure everyone knows how to recover data during the crisis. Finally, never underestimate the power of user training, MFA, and just basic hygiene like patching and segmentation. Even small improvements in these areas can block ransomware from gaining a foothold on your network. And by combining things like technical defenses, human readiness, and mature response planning, your organizations can greatly reduce its ransomware risk. Okay. So we now reached the Q&A portion here of our webinar, and this is your opportunity to ask questions, share scenarios, and just get clarifications on anything that we've covered today. So feel free to ask about incident response planning, detection tools, containment strategies, real-world situations. No question here is going to be too small for us. This is the time to ensure you walk away with some practical and actionable insights.
Thank you, Philip. That was very informative. And I know everyone's looking forward to the Q&A session, so go ahead and start putting your questions in the questions panel. And while you're doing that, I'd like to pass the presentation rights over to Neha Kumari, our product marketing manager, who's going to introduce you to our wonderful and amazing promotions and webinar related courses.
Hello, welcome and thank you. I hope you've all received the event handout, which is a great resource to guide you through today's session. We truly appreciate you taking the time to join us for this masterclass. Whether you are in healthcare, finance, marketing, or any other sector, AI-driven data solutions are transforming the way businesses unlock value, streamline operations, and drive innovation. We pride ourselves on delivering AI cert trainings through our network of 3,300 plus certified instructors, all active experts in their fields. At Netcom, we've been empowering businesses worldwide since 1998 with cutting-edge solutions that accelerate organizational growth and innovation. Our headquarters are located in the heart of New York City, and we are proud to offer worldwide delivery capabilities to support our global clients. Inside the handout you've received, there's a link to access the session recording for today's masterclass. This gives you the chance to revisit the material or dive deeper into any concepts you'd like further clarification on. As a valued participant, you'll also get exclusive access to our Netcom 365 portal. If this was your first time logging in, simply create a password and you'll be able to explore a wealth of resources designed to support your continuous learning journey. We highly encourage you to take full advantage of the learning portal, which offers a variety of skilling resources to help you stay ahead. Now, let's take a look at some of the latest AI cert courses available. They are divided by roles to help you choose the right path based on your career needs. I encourage you to click on the hyperlinks in the handout to explore the official course documentation and gain a deeper understanding of each offering. It's important to note that all our courses are taught by subject matter experts. Additionally, you'll enjoy perks like 180 days of access to virtual labs, 90 days of class recordings, and access to the Netcom 365 portal. You'll even have the option to repeat classes for free within a specific period if you miss a session or wish to review a topic. We've also included a few additional resources in the handout, including upcoming free events and insightful blogs. I highly recommend exploring these to broaden your understanding of our offerings and how they can help you and your organization achieve your learning and business goals. We have exciting upcoming schedules that you won't miss out. Here are some of them. These specialized programs will help you harness schedules that you won't miss out. Here are some of them. These specialized programs will help you harness the power of AI for different roles and industries. ensuring you stay ahead in today's competitive landscape. We've also included a few additional resources in the handout, including upcoming free events and insightful blogs. I highly recommend exploring these to broaden your understanding of our offerings and how they can help you achieve your learning and business goals. These specialized programs will help you harness the power of AI for different roles and industries, ensuring you stay ahead in today's competitive landscape. As a part of your journey, we also recommend exploring these valuable marketing assets to further enhance your AI knowledge and skills. Learn about the Learning Passport and flexible team training packages we offer. For organizations with complex, geographically distributed teams, we offer the Learning Passport. This flexible solution allows you to consolidate your training funds for up to 12 months, unlocking tremendous value, including up to 100% additional value on your funds. With the Learning Passport, you get unlimited access to over 4,000 authorized training courses. If your team has ongoing skilling requirements, this is an incredibly cost effective solution to meet your learning needs year round. Additionally, the Learning Passport also includes access to certifications, virtual events, blogs, webinars, and special promotional offers available on our website. It's your one stop solution for building a smarter workforce. And finally, be sure to check out Russell Sardar's latest book. As CEO of Netcom Learning, Russell has written a powerful framework to help organizations build smarter workforces, adapt to change, and drive growth in this rapidly evolving business environment. Don't miss out on this invaluable resource. Thank you for joining us today. With the right knowledge and skills, you can lead your organization to success and stay ahead in an AI driven world. Stay tuned for more updates and exciting learning opportunities from Netcom Learning. Together, we'll shape the future.
Thanks so much for guiding us through that information, Neha. And now we're going to go ahead and jump right into our question and answer session. If you haven't yet, it's not too late to pop your questions into the question panel. And as we start our Q&A sessions, we're also going to launch a quick poll that we want to invite you to participate in. Doing so helps us to know how we can better serve you by telling us who might be interested in more information or in taking some additional training. In addition, we have a lot more informative webinars coming up, so please go to netcomlearning.com/webinars in order to register. What's the first step an organization should take immediately after detecting a ransomware attack?
Okay, very good question. So the first and most critical step is to isolate the affected systems from your network. Okay, first and foremost, this includes disconnecting infected devices from the internet, Wi-Fi, and internal network to prevent the ransomware from spreading to other endpoints or shared devices. And isolation helps contain the damage and preserves all of your forensic evidence. It's important not to shut down the systems abruptly, as this could erase volatile evidence that investigators might need later on to figure out the root cause of the malware or the ransomware.
How can organizations improve their ability to detect ransomware before it fully executes?
Very good. So organizations can improve early detection by implementing layered security controls and using tools like endpoint detection and response or SIEM platforms. These solutions analyze behavior patterns and they detect anomalies such as unauthorized file access, process spawning from suspicious locations. Their goal is just to identify any anomalies, anything that's off in our network, anything that's not normal, and they're going to report on that. Okay, and again, it can be the smallest change, the smallest thing possible, but we still want to look into it. We want to make sure that it's not a big deal. It's just a small change in day-to-day activity. So these tools are there to report anomalies, anything that's off within our network.
Should a company pay the ransom if critical systems are down and no backup is available?
A very good question. So while paying the ransom may seem like the only way to recover encrypted data, law enforcement and cybersecurity experts strongly discourage it. There's no guarantee that paying the ransom will result in full data restoration, and it may incentivize future attacks. Because again, if you pay this ransom, who's to say that they won't send it to you again 2 weeks later, or you may get targeted by another hacking group. Moreover, paying the ransom could violate regulations, like you said. If you live in a jurisdiction where paying ransom is illegal, now you're held liable for that as well. So again, overall, it's never going to be recommended. It's highly discouraged to actually pay the ransom.
What role does communication play during a ransomware incident, and who should be involved?
So effective communication is critical during a ransomware incident to maintain trust, ensure coordinated response efforts, and comply with regulatory requirements. The incident response team should include representatives from every department. So you have people from the IT, legal teams, communications, executive leadership. And we're going to take everyone there and we're going to collaborate and kind of have internal communications to ensure that employees are informed and follow best containment protocols. External communication is going to be just as important as well. And that can be managed by your PR and legal teams, just so that we involve the stakeholders, we involve everyone who's affected by this incident.
What are some of the post-incident steps organizations should take to strengthen their ransomware defenses?
So after recovering from a ransomware incident, organizations should conduct post-mortem analysis. And this is going to be there to identify how the attack occurred, what systems were affected, and which gaps in security controls were exploited. So some key post-incident steps that we have things like updating and testing your response plan, patching any vulnerabilities that caused the exploit in the first place, implementing or maybe even just improving your backup strategies, conducting security awareness for your staff, make people aware. Because again, this phishing email could go out to every employee. It just takes one employee to click the link to get compromised. So just do these security awareness training, make people aware that this stuff is happening. Okay, enhance your monitoring and detection capabilities, and make sure your systems are actually detecting and reporting on anomalies.
Once again, I want to remind you that as you leave this session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to help us by taking a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience as we are constantly looking at how we can improve our future sessions. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. We want to thank all of you for joining us today, and if you do come up with any additional questions, feel free to send them to webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. We hope that you found today's webinar informative, and we look forward to seeing you back here with us soon. Feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Have a great day, everyone.